We appreciate it, thank you. Sorry about cutting you short here.
I mean, we could pick it up again when we start the selectmen's meeting if you wanted to, but
No, I think we're
gonna be okay.
We're gonna roll.
Are you clear what you're being asked to do?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Awesome, we appreciate it, and we apologize for the, we're running a new camera system now, and we're not quite used to it yet.
So the recommendation is shut this down, take about a 5-minute break, and then we'll pick for a 3-minute break, then we'll kick the camera back on for the selectmen's meeting.
Yeah, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Sir.
Virginia, you wanna hit the button? Yeah,
Thank
please.
you. Okay, had to call the meeting to order for March 27, 2024. We'll start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Those are all signed up?
Yes.
Okay, approval of the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda for March 27th.
Seconded.
All in favor? Minutes of the last meeting?
I move to approve the minutes of the March 20th and the March 13th select board meetings.
Seconded.
All in favor? Town Administrator, weekly update.
We've been very busy in the office, so just a couple of things to remind you of. First of all, that the nomination papers are still available. The deadline is Friday, April 12th for the select board, 2 select board seats, road commissioner, and 2 school committee seats. So available through April 12th. Regarding town meeting, the warrant has been posted by the constable. We are working on a mailing. The Vistaprint cards came in, so those will be out by tomorrow. Our handyman has the signs that he'll put out as soon as Sunday passes this week, so that they say next Saturday. And we run in the newspaper. We've done everything we can. We double checked postcards, that's what we're working on. Yep. Double checked with the babysitter, Mary Grant, for the food. Everything seems to be lined up and in place.
She showed me the postcard, she won't keep one.
No.
No, I had to receive it, man.
So that's really all I have to update on.
Really? Okay. Department head committee chair updates.
Cemetery committee is here for us tonight.
Yep.
First time here. Did everybody get a copy of
Does everybody know Steve?
Steve?
Yes.
So I just want to present the Acton Cemetery Committee operating document. It's just 7 or 8 bullets of what we do. Take care of the cemetery, according to standards and statutes that are just out there for the cemeteries. Any questions on that?
Would you mind just taking a moment, especially for people at home, to just run through that quickly?
Okay.
Each of those bullets, I think people would be interested in knowing.
The cemetery committee will adhere to rules set out by the main statute 13, chapter 83, cemetery corporations. For the purposes of clarification, cemetery and cemeteries included those with veterans as well as those without veterans that are buried there. There's about 80 cemeteries in town, about half of them have some veterans in them, whether they be Maple Grove or something that's been 200 years old. Cemetery committee monitors each cemetery with property owner's permission where applicable. Cemetery committee keeps records of all marked burials in each cemetery, including blank field stones. So there's a lot of field stones out there. If you don't know what that is, it's just a big flat, usually a piece of slate or whatever, marks somebody's grave, but we have no idea who that is. So it's usually like early 1800s or maybe late 1700s, where maybe the family did have money to have someone carved out the wood or something. After assessing each cemetery, the cemetery committee will plan cleanup days with the owner's permission, and we always ask for volunteers to help. And cleanups require more professional assistance than what we can do internally. The cemetery committee will coordinate quotes, get select board approval when necessary, and schedule that work to be done. Cemetery committee will assess damaged gravestones and repair them when needed. The stones are beyond repair. New stones can be purchased. A lot of the stones that you'll see here up in town are used to be white marble. A lot of them are gray or brown, because they're on the ground and broken. Sometimes we can fix them. Ken's one of our fixing guys. Sometimes they can't, because they're just, a lot of times they're like the consistency of chalk. You just can't fix it, so. The veterans' gravestones need replacement. Cemetery committee will apply for new stones from the government, from the VA, and/or assist family with the application. The VA is really tough to get a headstone out. They require a lot of records, and if it's someone from Civil War or previous, most records don't exist. And sometimes they won't approve it, so we'll have to go a different way to get stone for that bed. For cemetery preservation and restoration, best industry standards and practices will be observed, including those put out by the Maine Old Cemetery Association. So, actually, the three of us here, we're members of MOCA. They have trainings every year, proper ways to fix things, to do all that sort of stuff. We've seen there's been some headstones in town that have been fixed, decades ago, that are just scared, like using cement with rocks in them. There's actually, there's one in Maple Grove where it's got steel bars and bolts going through the headstone to keep it together. And that's not something we'd be doing nowadays, so. Keep up to date, do the right things. And that's all we got on that.
Thank you. By the way, was that your handiwork or the committee's work up next to Willie's?
Yes.
Nice job.
So, yeah, some of those trees have been around since long before all of us.
Yeah.
Some of those trees, I took care of a few trees last year that had come down. So, yeah. That one actually is not in bad shape as far as the stones go. A stone was found by Scott, the homeowner, one of the homeowners, last year. Over in the corner, there was this little thing sticking out, and he said, "Hey, come check this out." A little girl died, she was like age 3 or whatever, she died 200 years ago. She was in the corner and nobody knew it.
That's some white marble up there.
Yeah, so marble must have looked great 150, 200 years ago. Acid rain or whatever, not a good choice.
We appreciate what
Thank you
guys
for
do.
doing this, and thank the committee for its hard work. It's very important work. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think it's well noted
Awesome.
to say that not all of these committee members are even acting residents. So Steve, for
Yeah, I know,
example,
yeah.
We really
just
appreciate
Shapley
it.
resident, you guys, they get no compensation, they go above and beyond, and you guys are phenomenal taking care of these cemeteries.
Thank you.
I do have one question. You said that you said you're part of MOCA, or you've kind of, you said they do trainings. Are those trainings that are free, or that you folks have to pay, or how does
No, they're
that?
free trainings. I went to one in Lubeck, which is the end of nowhere. That was a few years ago. You went to water?
I went to Elbridge last year, and then I assisted with the students up in Gray last year.
So yeah, there's a guy that comes from New York State, that he does this as a business, cleaning, fixing stones, finding them, restoring, the whole 9 yards. So, there's certain things you should use to clean the stones, certain things you should not use to clean stones. And so when we do cemetery stuff and we have local people that stop by, or the homeowners or whoever, a lot of times they're like, "Oh, we didn't know what to do to clean this, I wanted to clean up, so I wanted to use bleach or use a power washer." We're like, things you shouldn't do. Try to educate everybody just in case they come across a situation that they don't cause more damage.
Has there ever been an opportunity where you folks have tried to host an event or something?
A few years ago, we did, because there's very little events that take place down in York County, or even Cumberland. Yeah, so we're working on that. There's a lot of I's dotted and T's crossed to get the thing down here, but yeah, there's a lot of people around that nobody knows about that do this sort of stuff.
Great.
We appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any more department head committee chairs? No? Okay, we're gonna move on to liaison updates.
Spent some time recently looking at rolling over one of the treasury bill investments, which the rates are starting to come down, I've noticed, and so it's not unexpected, but we're still earning someplace in the high 4s, as I recall. So Jennifer's been spending a fair amount of time doing this as well, so thank you for filling in for the treasurer on this, Jennifer. And just been working on budget and quite frankly, tax estimations. Estimating what the tax rate will be given if everything
Town
gets
meeting.
approved. So we're gonna be talking about that at town meeting, so getting myself prepared for that. That's it.
Ed?
The only thing I have is the fire department's gonna be doing some outreach programs. They're looking to put together a CPR class and some other assorted outreach things for the townspeople.
Yep. Yeah.
This past Tuesday, I attended the Acton School Budget Informational Night. I was a little disappointed to not see more people outside of like the school board and one of the finance members, and I highly recommend anybody who's gonna attend town meeting they have packets they put out at the school here, and a couple other places. I highly recommend you look at it because it is a large part of the budget, and make sure that when we go in, we're informed voters. And I also attended last Wednesday a municipal budget workshop. But yeah, that's it.
Okay. Road committee, we just had a workshop with the Sebago Technics, going over the road assessment. The full road committee was here, that was good. I think it was, worked out well, I think we'll get somebody with this.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And the rec committee,
He just left you some maps.
yeah, he just left the maps. Jed, he said he's gonna be in touch with you. We're seeing we've got all the surveying done. Can we line up the time so we can meet? And when I
At
can
the
meet
field?
up there. Yeah, at the field.
You and he and the director, or you and he for now?
Myself and the engineer will be just fine, I think, in that.
Perfect.
So, and that's all I've got. We'll move down to old business, treasurer, deputy town clerk position.
Okay, you want me to start, Jennifer?
Sure, please.
Great. As you know, we've had a director of finance position that was announced and began a search for. We also have a vacancy in the treasurer's position. Those are 2 of 3 resources that I think about when we are trying to make sure we've got the proper coverage and attention to the town's finances. The third one is Mark Roy, you may recall, was working with a CPA firm and was engaged, was that last year? Last year. And due to some health concerns and other issues at the firm, they had to terminate their services effective, I guess it was 12/31/23. We've been in discussions with Mark since then. His whatever issues there were at that time have been resolved. He's separated from the firm. He's starting his own business, providing accounting services to towns. And so we have 3 resources that, as I think about it, are sort of on the table, in play, to sort of piece together the right combination of those to make sure we've got good fiscal accounting management at the town. So we've got a director of finance position, which we'd actually had made some progress on. We had a candidate who was, quite frankly, very strong, and we were this close to landing her, and at the last moment she decided to stay where she was. It would have been a great hire. The treasurer, we've been sort of inactive on while we were waiting to see what happened with that. We now want to begin the search for a treasurer's position. We'll leave the director of finance position open, but you should also be aware that Mark has been engaged really since January. And he's providing continued oversight of the town's finances. He's the one that's providing the warrant and finance committee and the selectmen all the budget to actual reports. He's performing bank reconciliations. He's monitoring all the cash flow. He's looking at internal controls, understanding what transactions are happening. He's playing a vital role for the town. So I don't want anyone to be concerned, I'm not anyways. I would like to reassure you that the town is in good hands. We haven't missed a beat. The payroll has been done, accounts payable, everyone's being paid on time. The accounting is being performed. And quite frankly, I think the accounting we're having this year is really quite strong, and when we get the auditors in here in the fall, I think hopefully they'll be able to have a much easier time of doing the audit. So we got these 3 resources. We got 2 positions we're searching for, and we got basically a consultant. And we're gonna go through those searches and try to find the best combination of those 3 resources that we can put together that will provide the technical and professional expertise we need at the cheapest cost. And so I know people have been wondering what's happening with the treasurer's search and the director of finance. And quite frankly, I've been a little vague about it, and that's because we're trying to keep our options open. We're gonna try to find the right people that can do the best job at the best price. So what that's gonna look like at the end, I don't know. We'll know it when we see it. But in the interim, things are fine and being attended to.
And we'll leave it open, get the right applicants.
Get the right applicants in.
We don't have to jump out, we're in good hands right now. I think we're
Yeah,
we're in a better spot than we were
Yeah, we're
a
fine.
little while ago.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get better, and we find the right applicants,
Yeah,
possible.
yeah, we'll see where it
And
goes.
we'll be good shoes, so we're good.
So regarding the deputy town clerk position, I have been doing interviews. We have interviewed probably 7 to 9 people total. We picked who we thought were the top couple of candidates. David came in as the chair, and we did this couple of second round interviews and offered the position to somebody that we thought was the best fit. That same day, she also decided to take a job elsewhere. So we are revisiting that and looking at resumes again, and we'll go on to the next step when time allows.
One thing that I think everybody ought to understand is we're competing with people working at home. Their benefits pick up quicker on other jobs. So, you know, it's tough. When we find someone we want, they get offered a better job. So it's tough. So we're putting it back out, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Look at the resumes and keep the ad fresh.
Okay, awesome. Freedom of information policy.
So last week you had homework.
Yeah.
The Freedom of Information policy, does anybody have any concerns with the changes that the attorney recommended?
So these are all attorney qualified
They are
changes?
all under Maine State statute for the Freedom of Information Act, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the revised Freedom of Information Act policy or document?
Policy, yeah.
Policy as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
I'll print a fresh one, this one's still redlined, I wasn't sure where you were gonna go with it, so.
Okay, now the new business, Comcast.
We have a representative here, and I'm sorry, come on up. Sorry, Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, good, phew. Oh, and he has.
My name is Brian Christensen. I am Director of Government Affairs for Comcast, and my colleague Monica Tebow. We're here to introduce ourselves because we want to come and offer our products and services in the community. A lot of you probably don't know who we are, so there's 26 pages there, but we're going to be quick.
We appreciate that.
We know you guys have a packed agenda, and so I'll jump right into it. And if you have questions, obviously stop me. It's not my first town meeting in front of the Board of Selectmen. So Comcast, we offer video, internet, telephone, mobile, home security. We were founded in 1963 in Tupelo, Mississippi. We are a Fortune 26 company. So the reason I'm telling you this stuff is as you consider to bring us into the community, you have 3 obligations under law. You gotta determine whether we're financially, legally, and technically able to deliver what we're gonna tell you we're gonna deliver. And it's all in this 25-page packet as I see some affirmation there. What we propose to do is to come in and build a whole new infrastructure in the community. You would still keep your current cable provider, which I believe is Breezeline. We would come in and offer a competitive product.
So you'd be competing against Breezeline?
Yes.
That's awesome.
So we're looking for there, I told,
I mean, competition's always good. Maybe it won't grow 20 bucks every day.
This is the good part of my job. to a new community. In order to run our infrastructure in a community, we need a franchise agreement. But I'm gonna let Monica talk a little bit about our video product, because that's what our franchise agreement really is. It's as a local board, you get to regulate our video product to a certain extent. I think it starts on page 6 if you want to check out our video product.
Video product,
Yeah.
okay. Page number
6.
So it's the one that says Giant X1 right there.
for this one?
Yep, right there.
Okay.
Excellent, yeah.
X1, so we're Comcast, but our brand is Xfinity, so you're going to hear that kind of interchangeable, so don't want to confuse you on that.
So with Xfinity X1, we deliver the ultimate entertainment experience for customers. Customers can enjoy live TV, sports, streaming apps, and DVR all in one place, making it easy to find what to watch and wherever customers want to watch it. Move to the next page here. I wanted to highlight a couple of X1 destinations that I think are very popular. The Kids Zone is a great and safe place for kids to watch free movies and shows on demand, watch live programming and educational programming. And I think an important part is it also allows parents to set parental control PIN numbers, adjust settings, and they can even adjust content based on ages, so that's really exciting stuff. The Sports Zone is also another popular spot where you can set your favorite teams and players, check stats, watch highlights, and a lot more. So the next page, we talk about the X1 voice remote. So this is something that we love to talk about. You can kind of think of the X1 voice remote as your all-access pass to everything from sports to live TV and streaming apps. All you have to do is press and hold. There's a little microphone button. It's really hard to see in the PowerPoint, but it's a little blue button. It looks like a microphone. You hold that and you can talk to the remote and basically ask it to bring you to whatever content you're looking for.
I see a few iPhones on the table. It's sort of like Siri for your TV.
Yeah.
You literally say, show me SportsCenter, show me Fox News, show me CNN.
Yeah.
And
So,
it pulls it up.
okay. Stole my thunder, but you can talk into it and say something like, watch the Great British Baking Show on Netflix, right into your remote, and it will bring you directly to that content. One of the things I like the most is the show Wi-Fi command. So you say into your remote, show Wi-Fi, and it will bring up your Wi-Fi on your TV. I love it if I have a house full of people, everybody wants to connect to Wi-Fi, so I throw it up there, it's everybody connect to the Wi-Fi now, because I'm not going to show it again. So that's one of the features I love. So the next page talks about Xfinity X1 On Demand. So there's a ton of content available, including TV shows, movies, including new releases. They come out a little bit early on there, and a lot more. So all you have to say into your voice remote is show on demand. You can also click the Xfinity button, and that will bring you to basically a bar that shows the different options. So you go to on demand and tons of content on there. The next page talks about apps. So with X1, you can access all of your favorite apps in one place. So you don't have to switch inputs on your TV. You can say to your voice command, show Netflix. It'll bring you directly to that. So that's a really cool
Are there any you don't carry?
We carry the top like 40 apps.
Most of it, Netflix, Pandora, Prime Video, YouTube, all the,
Paramount, CBS,
Hulu?
Hulu.
Some of the providers sort of black out some of those.
No,
Are you doing that?
We definitely carry all the popular ones.
All the
TV,
major ones?
Apple TV. Like we may not have, like ZTV app or something
Yeah,
like that, but
but
all the popular ones are on the
Okay,
platform.
thank you.
Another thing that I like to talk about is X1 on sports on X1. As I mentioned, you can track stats, standings, game highlights, live scores, all without having to leave the game that you're currently viewing. So for example, the NCAA tournament right now, you can track all the different teams, all the scores. There's a C button and it brings you up to a panel that shows all of the live scores. You can also select teams that are your favorite. So Celtics, Bruins, Patriots. It'll bring a My Teams tab and then it will show you what's upcoming for those teams. Comcast is also a proud sponsor of the 2024 Olympic team, so there'll be a lot of coverage and a lot of content available on demand for the Paris Olympics, which start in July. I've talked about a lot of different ways to access content on X1, but if you prefer browsing TV the more traditional way, we do have a live guide as well. So that acts as your traditional TV browser. And the last thing I want to touch on for X1 is the settings. So settings on X1 are very personalizable, so you can view notifications, you can set your closed captioning, you can set parental controls, and your display settings all in that settings tab. So it's very customizable and very user-friendly, and again, we strive for the best entertainment experience. So the next two slides just talk about the streaming that we have, Xfinity Stream. So we have an Xfinity Stream app. If you're a TV customer, you can watch anything that your subscription allows using the Xfinity Stream, either app or there's also like a portal. You just use your Xfinity credentials to authenticate, and you can access pretty much anything that you have on your traditional television set. And then a little bit more.
Questions from the audience?
Is there a question?
In other words, you wouldn't have to buy Paramount Plus, or you wouldn't have to buy the ABC app?
So it depends on what type of
Streaming.
subscription, but for Paramount Plus, for example, there is a separate app for that, but there is like a Paramount Plus station. It just depends on what type of package that
But
you
any of the streaming stations you have to pay for, or streaming services.
Yeah,
You have to pay for those. You're not gonna get Paramount Plus without a membership.
If you subscribe to like Max, HBO.
Yeah, they might bundling some of those.
Yeah, you can get the app, and Peacock, which is owned by Comcast Corporation, that comes with certain packages, TV packages. If you buy TV packages, then you wouldn't have to pay for Peacock, which is going to carry a lot of the.
You wouldn't pay for it separately, it'd be part of a bundle.
Correct, sir.
Unless you did just the internet, then you can buy them individually.
Yeah, and we'll jump into the rest of the
Okay.
suite in a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the final thing that I wanted to just talk about was the apps. Actually, we currently provide access to more than 80 network websites and apps across 21 devices, including thousands of things to watch on the Stream app or the Xfinity Stream portal. As an Xfinity customer, you can access and view shows, movies, news, sports, and more on network websites and apps by using your Xfinity login. For example, if you have like a Fox login, you would use your Xfinity app to what television provider you use. You select Xfinity, you use those credentials, and it would log you into that. So that's one example.
So that was all on TV. There's all sorts of other slides on our internet, which I think probably a lot of people want to talk about. But I'll kind of talk about that on larger, grander scheme, and you guys can flip through it on your leisure, or I can go through it. You tell me what you want to do. We're proposing to come into town and build an all fiber network. So it's going to be a brand new fiber network out of the box, and it's going to be fiber to the premises. And we're going to be providing speeds up to 1.2 gigabits when service is unveiled. And the other kind of neat thing that we're offering that I don't think our competitors are offering today is our Xfinity mobile program. So if you subscribe to our Xfinity internet service, and it's in the slides, you can get unlimited data. What's the price point without me? For 1 month, they just changed it,
So for 2 lines unlimited, I know it's $30 or
Wait a minute, are we talking about cell phone unlimited data?
Yeah.
So if I got an AT&T account, how does this work with that?
Yeah, so you would become an Xfinity mobile, you would need to select to become an Xfinity mobile
I'd have
customer.
to terminate with AT&T,
Yep.
line up with you guys.
Port your phone number over and,
Yeah.
So, I guess at the end of the day, I don't wanna cut you short or anything.
I guess.
What do you need from us?
So we need to enter a franchise agreement, so I need to work with either Jennifer or yourselves to kind of mirror your current franchise agreement. Because under both federal and state law, you can't grant a new franchise to a competitor, which would be us, that is more favorable and less burdensome than your incumbent provider. So we have the Breeze Line agreement, and we're currently drafting up a draft that we would circulate to the community. We would need you guys to obviously go over that and go from there.
So would you string all new fiber throughout the town? I don't know, I've heard a lot of comments about cable over the years here, and not just with this firm, but places I've lived elsewhere. It seems to me the two big issues are service. Can you get somebody when you call?
Yep.
And how long does it take to get to someone? And secondly, what's the cost?
Yep.
Because I think I'm familiar with Compic Cash, you got great services, and, you know, it's probably one of the best out there. But I think we need to understand what it would cost someone.
Yep.
Based on various options, and it gets a little complicated, but I think we need to know if this is gonna be more expensive, that's sort of one consideration. If it's less, it's another. And so how can you help us with that?
Yeah, so a couple of things there. It's gonna sound blunt, but cost isn't one thing you can consider whether we come into town or not. With that being said.
No, I mean, honestly, you know, I could go get dish or something and pay less than I'm paying for cable now, but I hated my dish, I'm paying more, so it don't really matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, what did you say? We can't consider cost?
Yeah, you can't keep us out because we're like too expensive or anything like that. So.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, they come in, they're too expensive, nobody does it, and that's all they're.
So we don't care. I'm just trying to say,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
What I can share with you is we're doing the same exact project. We just completed it in Sanford. We're doing it in Lebanon. I can share our pricing sheet with Jennifer. And the one caveat, and I'd say this in my email to Jennifer, is that's what we call our rate card. So that's the rate card. So when you call and sign up for as a new customer, you know, we obviously have promotional programs to help get customers. So we're, as a kind of sputtering here, but we just completed Sanford. And
So at the end of the day, you need a franchise agreement with us. So what we'll do is have you work with our town administrator on that and present that to us at a future date. I would say next week. It's gonna take a little bit.
Oh, it's gonna take a long time, yeah, because I'm gonna have legal look at it.
So
we got a draft.
It's gonna be a process.
I would say we probably can get something in mid to late April here.
okay, yeah.
And the question you're not asking is when?
That was my next question.
That wasn't my question, but that's okay, go ahead and answer his question.
Once we sign up and say.
Yeah, once you sign up,
How long does it take to put the system in?
Oh, they gotta string the cable.
Yeah.
it takes a while. We are projecting our first customers, if we get a franchise agreement here in the fall. Once we get our first customer, we think we'll be substantially completed within 18 months.
Oh, that ain't too bad.
But it is a years-long process.
Yeah.
It's not, we have to basically pay for the other utilities to move their wires on the telephone poles, and that's what takes time.
I'm curious, you don't have to answer this, but, what are you seeing with your subscriber counts in communities? Are they declining? Putting aside growth in the community.
Yeah.
But if you got a sort of a stagnant population, are you finding more and more people moving to, you know, streaming services they're buying directly up, you know?
There's a trend in that direction, for sure. There's also a trend, more and more people are signing up for internet.
Yeah, just internet.
Just internet, yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe it's the difference in our ages. I'm still a TV guy. Like, I still like my stuff on TV. My kids watch things on a 3-inch screen, and I say, how do you do that?
Yep.
And I think there's gotta be an equilibrium that comes along.
It's not relevant to our decision, but I was just curious. Because we're seeing some.
We've seen some-
We've seen some things here.
You're not the first to
So
ask.
if we're not allowed to consider the cost that you're gonna offer services to our citizens with, what are we allowed to consider?
So under law, when a competitor comes in, you need to consider whether we can legally do it, and under federal and state law, we're legally allowed to, whether we have the financial capabilities to deliver the products and services. And
Yeah.
I think being a Fortune 26
Yeah,
company.
you got the
know,
wherewithal. Yeah.
And technically, whether we can deliver it.
So I don't know that we have options, but if, let's say there were two firms that were looking to do this in addition to the current, then we'd have to make a decision between those two?
No,
Well,
all franchises are non-exclusive.
ah,
So you can have 100 of them on that, not literally, but figuratively, you could have 100 of them on
so
that.
this
telephone.
really isn't our decision, is it? That's what I'm hearing.
You integrated-
I'm not trying to be
This is a technicality is what this is.
but it's great that you've come and talked to us, but it sounds like we're legally, so long as we can get comfortable with those three conditions, you have the right to go ahead and offer these services to our citizens without our approval.
You need to grant the license for the rights of way.
But if we don't, we've got a problem.
We'd be doing this.
We'd be dealing with lawyers.
I'll be frank, we probably wouldn't go to that point. We'd
No, I mean, but
we'd go to the next town.
I'm not trying to be confrontational, I'm just trying to get a sense that this really isn't a decision for the selectmen. I mean, you gotta approve the franchise, but if we don't, we probably have got some issues.
Right, because really it's up to the customers to decide if they want to switch.
Yeah, okay.
So you have to be, gonna be a good price or they're not gonna bother, so I imagine they're gonna be competitive.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying, and I think we're on the same page.
yeah.
I think we all are. I think we just trying to get as much information as we can.
I just want to make it clear that when people ask, well, why did you approve Comcast?
Yeah.
Well, it really wasn't anything that we approved. It was, you had every right to come in and offer these services, and so
Yeah,
it's really not a select,
We would be doing
not a
a
selective
disservice.
decision.
We'd be doing a disservice to the community if we didn't allow
Yeah.
another competitor. to
That's
come in.
fine, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My number and email are on there, so if anybody wants to continue this conversation, I'd be happy to.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank
I
you.
just got one other question for you. We have a lot of people in town that live a distance from the poles.
Yeah.
That's, 400 or 500 feet, for instance. They've got cable now. So if you come in, put something new on the street and they want to switch to you, do they have to change the cabling going to their house, or how does that all work?
It would be the same thing that's kind of in the streets. We would run a new wire, and if it's 400 or 500 feet and they have if it's 500 feet, they probably have a telephone pole in their driveway.
Yeah.
We would just attach to that telephone pole, assuming they have legal rights to it and
Okay.
all that.
Are you obligated to do that?
It
Or
would
is
be,
that a discretion?
the details would be in the franchise agreement, and I'm gonna backtrack to one of the things I said earlier. We're building a fiber optic network, an EPON network. It's not as reliant on distance as a traditional coax cable network is. Coax cable network can generally go up a driveway about 250 to 300 feet, and then you need some real infrastructure upgrades. Fiber,
Yeah, it's not.
there's not that concern. If that particular driveway is underground and there's no conduit, and that's a whole different
That's a
story.
different issue.
If it's underground and there is conduit, no issue?
No issue.
Any charge for the customer?
Not upon initial installation, no. No, it would be,
Do you have the conduit?
so if somebody builds a house in a vacant lot in 5 years and our trucks are gone and all that other fun stuff, I don't want to issue a blanket statement.
I see, so once you've done your initial rewire or hanging the wire, I got you, okay.
And we are proposing to build the entire 4 corners of the town.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Great.
I just have one question. I see that you mentioned Sanford and Lebanon, looking at Maine, it seems like there's a few towns. How long have you been working with these towns in Maine?
So, traditionally, the Kittery, Elliott, South Berwick, and Berwick, we've been there for 25 years.
Okay.
Sanford, Lebanon, about 2 years. The Brunswick property is about 15 years.
Okay.
And you're looking at our map of our New England footprint, which I'm responsible for New Hampshire and Maine, and Monica and I are on the same team.
Okay.
And we're both out of Concord, New Hampshire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
So, I guess,
Yeah, take care of it.
Yeah, we'll get you something in the next few weeks.
So maybe I can get my Comcast email back, is that what you're telling me?
You're still using it? Because even if you are a subscriber, if you're still using it, it should still be active.
Now they deactivated it, that's why I was surprised.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I got a couple extra.
No, I don't want them. Can you just email it to me so I can get it on our town's website?
Yep.
Appreciate it much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay. Where are we now?
Business? That's good.
Yeah, culvert concern, Erica Gill. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
It's nice to meet you finally after so many calls.
Yeah, here we go.
So this is the first time that I'm attending a town meeting, so I'm happy to answer any questions, but,
So you might want to catch the full board up, because they may not be
Sure.
completely aware of what
Okay, yeah.
brings you. And Will is just sticking around for it.
Yeah, Will's, yep.
so I'm Erica Gill. I have a home on 198 Langley Shores Drive, and we've been at the home since 2017, but I've been visiting for 35 years. So in April of '23, we had a pretty extensive damage to our house of water coming down from the street. The damage was so excessive that it actually came down into our property and ran into the lake. So we have a lot of damage there. It collapsed our driveway, and pretty much the side of my yard was completely eroded. So I had worked with the town at that time and worked with a code officer to try to manage our yard as best as possible, knowing that we do live south of kind of the big hill that's coming down. And we had a lot of concerns about the overrun of things that were happening with the culvert. So I had kind of spent the summer trying to get our house back in order, if you will, getting a new driveway, getting everything put back together. And then in December, all the work was done, it looked beautiful. And then in December, we had that massive storm again. And the storm was so big that it basically eroded the entire yard. So all the drainage we had put in, we had about a foot of sand that had covered all the drainage, including rocks. So none of the water could move in the directions that it needed to kind of manage through. And so I'm back to kind of square one again of a brand new driveway that's also collapsing that I will have to replace. And so I'm grateful that Dave and also Will, and Jennifer, when I came down and kind of expressed my concerns of just asking, like, what can we do? We do know that the culvert needs to function better. I'm not an expert in engineering, but the culvert needs to function better. I think everybody was in agreement that we needed to do that, but also there are some remedies that the street also needs to do as well. But wanting to just try to get that scheduled as quickly as possible, because as far as I'm concerned, my house continues to be at risk. So I'm trying to mitigate as much as I can, but I can't personally continue to have to deal with this. And I'm not an engineer, and we're doing the best we can, but it's just, the cost was extraordinary to fix what we had to fix, and we just can't simply keep doing that.
Yep. So, what we're discussing, what I've been discussing with her is, and I talked to Will about it, is, obviously, the culverts were replaced not too long ago. Well, they were replaced
This is
2
the
years
Article
ago.
43, so back us up, is this the Article 43 funds?
Yeah, no. Okay, so I'll get to that.
Okay.
So, the culverts were changed, I think, 2 years ago, Will?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, okay. You changed them, went from the corrugated to the smooth bore, plastic. Unfortunately, he didn't upsize them because there's ledge there. Can't upsize, it can't get any deeper.
I'm sorry, could you explain that?
What's
You
up?
can't upset.
They put the
You
same
can't
size.
upsize the culvert. He kinda did,
So
he kinda did
It was
upsize
put
it.
in terms of.
Yeah, because it's ledge, unless you raise the whole
Yeah,
road,
yeah,
which you can
it
do.
could Yeah.
Kinda did upsize them, because when you go to a corrugated, you go to a smooth bore, you're gonna get a certain percentage more volume or whatever. So the issue is this. Put the culverts in, but the problem we have is the road association has created a new ditch line that was never there before. Okay, the water used to disperse, go wherever it went. Now it's being directed into a more direct spot, which encumbers our culvert on Langley Shores.
So is this our culvert?
So they're encumbering our culvert. Okay, they're putting the water to our culvert. So what's happening is you have the water coming down Langley Shores on this side, and now they've directed all the water from the private part of Langley Shores to these two culverts. Unfortunately now, because they've directed that they've doubled the amount of water going into these culverts, that they can't take it.
And that was I'm just trying to understand it, so that was beneficial to them, because where was their
It
water?
was not beneficial to us.
Well, no, I know, but where was their water going before?
Before, there was no ditch line, so it just went wherever it went. Okay, now when you take and you create a ditch and you direct all the water to one spot,
Right.
you maximize the volume of water to one area.
Again, I'm not an expert, but I've owned homes since 2017. I've not had any issues until now. So there are many changes that I think we all understand have happened on the street.
Yep.
You know.
I was just trying to explain to the
Yes,
board
but we
what's
also
going on
have,
here.
we also have a new resident who also added a culvert in as well, which we also wonder how that's functioning. Again, I'm not an engineer, but I think there's several things. So my goal is that as a resident, or, you know, as a taxpayer, I want to just work with you guys around how can we do this? And I'm happy to also work with my road association around things that perhaps they need to do, but it all has to work together. Otherwise.
Well, it doesn't have to work together.
Okay.
Because what I explained to you was, the town can go down, upsize those culverts, okay?
Correct.
That's all we're responsible for. At the same time, we've given $3,000 to that road association to do a job that didn't get done correctly, okay? Because that Article 43 money that we signed off on, that road was supposed to be pitched so the water couldn't get in your driveway. That did not happen. At the same time, when I went down and did an evaluation on it, I went, took myself, I've been doing this for quite a while. I gave you issues that were points that need to be corrected. First of all, the ditch line that was put in has a big sag in it. It doesn't flow to the culvert, it goes a big sag, water settle in there. The culvert there that was put in, that's a civil problem. You guys have to deal with that. That's not our problem. I did explain to you that the issues that you did in your dooryard did not help the situation. You diverted all the water to your house.
Well, I know we may have different opinions.
Well, no, and I'm just letting you,
I know.
I know you've probably been doing this longer than I have.
You can understand that this is
I can only imagine.
incredibly difficult.
No, you're in a bad spot. You're in a really bad spot.
But I'm kind of in the middle of this.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the responsibility of the town, choices that the road association made, and at the end of the day, I'm the one paying the price.
The only responsibility the town has at this point is we are gonna have Mr. Langley, okay, change those culverts
I
out.
would be
When,
here for that.
and we've already talked about this at one point, okay? When he's done, and come on up here for a second there, might as well talk to you both, saying, we talked about after you get all your road grading done, all the springtime projects you need done, you've already lined up somebody to do some jackhammer and then increase those culverts, correct?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it was just, like we talked about, I'm gonna get my sweeping done. I guess I'm gonna get my springtime work done, and if there's money enough left this spring, we might be able to tackle it this spring, but if not, it's gonna have to be once I get my new money.
Yep.
In July.
I have two questions. Is this runoff going into the lake?
Well, both of these situations did, and so the work that I had worked with Jason around and the way that we designed everything was that nothing should go into the lake.
No, but it is now, given these large storms, going
yes.
right into the lake, all this debris.
So I had done a lot of work to our property to avoid runoff. So when we had put all of this stuff in, so the first thing happened, it went right into the lake. And so I know you're talking about all the money you paid for the road. That $3,000 went into the lake.
Yeah. Because it wasn't done correctly.
Down my yard into the lake. So that is terrible. We don't want that to happen. I had fixed everything. I had done the best that I could do with my ability and what I know.
Yeah.
And then the damage happened again, and it went into the lake.
Is the road association being helpful in this?
Well, I've put myself on the board now. Now I'm, trying to get involved as best as I can. But at the end of the day, we're all just volunteers. We're not experts on roads.
Well, wait a minute, the road association, it appears had some role they played in creating the situation.
Right,
So are they working collaboratively with you?
Yes,
to try to resolve this?
They're 100%.
That's
I think
great.
like we're all kind of in this point of saying like we want to work together and try to figure this out. So I think the big piece is first starting with the culverts. We will deal with
Which he's gonna do.
the street and all those things that, you know, the ideas you've given us. I'm happy to bring those to us. But you have to understand, we're paying taxes, and now we're paying we're paying taxes.
Yeah, we all
and
pay
we're
taxes.
paying, and we're now having to pay to maintain a road on top of that.
I know.
And I'm paying to fix all these damages,
Yeah,
so I'm getting triple whacked, and now I'm trying to learn roads.
When I went up and looked at your dooryard, did I tell you what I thought was the issues?
You did, but unfortunately, I spent $50,000 to
But-
fix it. And
But
that's- I know
unfortunately,
you have a
you
different
spent
opinion than-
$50,000 and wasn't done correctly.
I know you have a different opinion of that, I can't turn that back
But
now.
you can fix that problem. You can fix that problem.
Sure, and can someone write me a check to do that?
Well,
I
unfortunately,
need
we
to
didn't
fix
do
the
that.
road, I need to stop it at the top.
What would you like from us?
What I would like is commitment of when are you gonna do the culvert? And I'm hearing that we have to wait till you know, I wanna know what's gonna be done in the spring, because if it's not done soon, I still have damage. So every time it rains, I have to make sure, I have to pay someone to go out and look at all the drainage systems to make sure it's not backed up again, or I'm gonna have water in my house or stuff is gonna be in the lake. So the faster you do it, the less damage I'm
I
gonna
understand.
continue to have.
I understand.
And also, I am gonna be working with the road association to fix on their side. But it's really hard for me to kind of fix some of those other things until I know when the other work is gonna be done.
Okay. So, we just said, once we get through
I'm
the
not
spring.
gonna have him pinpoint an exact time.
No,
He's gotta get through his.
That's what I'm saying, you got spring work you gotta do. Is that what
That's what he's saying.
Oh, he doesn't have money left.
Well, he
But
said,
that's
he doesn't know.
that I'm trying to understand, is this like scheduled and is there money? Because I'm hearing there's a will to do this.
The problem is he won't know whether or not he's got the fund until he's done all his spring cleanup and everything else. That's obviously priority, the rest of the town.
Yeah, sure.
And, so after that's done, he'll know whether or not, and we talked about it earlier, whether or not there's funds available. He's already planning on he's got stuff lined up, it's whether or not the funds are available. There will not be any more funds available if he doesn't have it until July 1st.
Until July 1st.
But what do we have to do then to get it
No,
approved?
there's nothing
Goes to
you can
July?
do.
No,
Nothing
but
you
then-
have to do.
Okay, but then the budget just.
This is not a priority of the town of Acton, okay? This is something that was created by somebody else. We are stepping in to do something we don't need to do, right? So, and I think I explained that before. We do not have to change those culverts. You guys encumbered our culverts. You created the problem to us. So we're gonna get there as soon as we can.
I have just thinking of kind of like what you're saying, there's no accountability for the road association, because you've said multiple times they messed up,
They did.
did poorly. So there's no way that they can be held accountable or anything that they're gonna
We
do.
could go down that route, but I think by fixing the problem is the best thing to do.
Thank you.
But and that's what we plan on doing. I don't wanna be harsh here, but I am, because I want everybody to realize that if you turn around and you create a ditch line and bring it into our right of way, which they did, which they shouldn't have been able to do. Any other, right of ways and this and that, when you put water onto somebody else's property, which that is the town of Acton's property, you've created an issue. Now, and I know you have an issue with the culvert up there that Pearson put in, which we're not getting involved in. That's between you and the road association. But we're gonna get in and do that culvert as soon as possible. But we can't not do the other stuff first.
I totally appreciate that. I just want to kind of know that it's on the list, it's funded, and it will
I
happen.
think that's what
all I
you're
want to
heard.
know.
I think-
No, it is, it
Thank
is.
you.
And the only reason I asked to have you come is because I think when I was telling you this, I don't think you believed me. So, I'm giving you everything.
I don't really understand how all these things work in the town, but like, I'm just concerned that we're going to continue to have damage.
When you said that there was money allocated, the way our budget works is he's got a maintenance line, unless it's an actual warrant article separated, this maintenance line would cover that. But this is the time of year when you're getting to the nitty gritty where there may not be funds, depending on what happens.
Because our fiscal year runs from July to June,
Yeah.
so that's what he's at the end of the budget now. We're gonna approve it hopefully in April, but he can't spend it until July 1. so.
Just gonna cross
So we'll get out
out.
there as quickly as we can.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you. Okay, we are, planning board alternate resignation.
Ryan Gleason has resigned as the planning board alternate, just saying that based on work times and constraints, he's not able to do it, and he looks forward to possibly serving again in the future.
Okay, so, do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we accept his resignation with regret.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Abatement?
We will start advertising that. I should already have one person interested that I set Tom up with next week. We had a waiting list. I'm still talking to the planning board. Sorry.
I was confused there for a second. I'm sorry about that, I guess I jumped got a little bit. So you do have somebody in?
We already have one person.
If Jennifer says so, then we do.
He's been on a waiting list.
Oh, has he?
Yes,
Oh,
so
nice.
we could reach out, make sure he's still
Yeah,
interested.
good.
We'll still
Are we gonna meet
advertise
with
that.
them?
Tom is
Tom
meeting
is,
with us,
I
liaison.
just been told we're gonna.
You were talking to that.
Or was I talking to you? There's no doubt I was. Okay, can we go to liquor abatement now?
Tax map 229, lot 16. According to the assessor, it was inadvertently taxed at 6.2 acres. It is actually 4.9 based on the survey, so it's a $9,000 valuation decrease, tax amount abatement of $58.05.
Okay, make a motion that we approve tax abatement on active map lot 229-76 in the amount of
$58.05.
$58.05.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Alright.
Okay, well, we're signing up, liquor license.
So this is Pilot's Cove Cafe. They are a licensed caterer in the state of Maine. They're going to be funding, they're going to be providing alcohol services to the Tony Flahan event that you approved at the fairgrounds. So it's already been received by the state, but the town has to acknowledge receipt of it. They are licensed insurance, they include the fees. They are an actual caterer.
Airport?
Yes, yeah, it's Pilot's Choice, exactly,
Yeah, old Pilot's
yeah. They
Choice.
do that on the side, yeah.
Pass them down.
Dan, take that. Awesome. Somebody did it. That's all signed. So just gonna make a motion on Pirates Cove.
To just start as received.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I move that we've received the Pilot's Cove liquor license. What is that? Application?
Seconded.
All in favor? Okay.
It's interesting that the state makes them go through the municipality because they really don't, you know, the state issues the license. I mean, they're, you know what I mean?
I've always said we shouldn't be in the liquor license
Right.
thing, because I'm
It's more
honest with
for
the state.
notification really, but they want you to sign off on it, kind of like your full permits.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we have,
If you got an establishment that has a bad, you know, set
I
of
know, but you know what
circumstances.
happens?
Yeah.
It's been done before where they've denied it,
Yeah.
and then the state overrides it anyways.
Right.
That's what happened last time, so all we need is a speed bump.
Alright. Fire department grant?
Yeah, we might as well go to the fire department grant.
So Stephen and Tabitha King Foundation they have a grant from $500 to $50,000 for communities. There's a wide variety of things that it can be spent on, but the fire chief has asked for permission to apply. He indicated that the grant does not require any town funding. He would apply for something that falls under the capped amount.
What's the grant?
It's the Stephen King Foundation.
Oh, isn't that how they bought
Community
the
grant.
ATV that
That's how they
way?
bought the ATV back years ago.
So first thing he says comes to mind is a self-contained breathing apparatus bottle fill station. But it really depends on how much he can get, if anything.
So if the grant is insufficient for whatever he has in mind, we just won't accept the grant?
He'll get something else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's gonna,
He's gonna apply with a list of things in different amounts, and, I mean, he knows, so the
We're
warrant
not gonna be in a
article,
situation where we get 3/4 of the funding, we gotta come up with the
he
rest.
very clearly says that he
Okay.
understands that it will not
I think
encumber
we
the
had some of
town.
that funded anyways, I think we funded, we Did we put money forwards for apparatus?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's
May not
this
be this,
particular
I
one,
think
but
there was that.
he
Wasn't for
just,
the Bill station.
he feels like he should just be applying for all the grants.
That's great.
They don't encumber the town, he's gonna
Oh, no,
apply.
that's
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
that's awesome, then,
Glad
that's,
he
The
did.
warrant article though requires him to get your permission.
yep, awesome. We don't have to make a motion.
No, just more informational, so.
Alright,
Okay, we're down to public comment. Joyce?
Hi, Joyce Bakshi. A couple of things. First of all, the good stuff. Good job on the annual report. Glad to see it there. Lovely write-up for Claire Drive.
I'm gonna thank Dan, Dan worked really hard on that for us.
That was lovely.
We all
It
threw
is
it.
lovely. Secondly, I'm so glad to hear that things are moving in a positive direction on any of our financial and deputy clerk position. That's really good. That brings me to, also glad to hear Mark Roy has made himself available to us. Now, we don't like the word assume, but I imagine the money we're paying him now is from the money that we voted on.
Yep.
Okay, last year. What are we gonna do come July 1st? Do we have money
yes,
for him then?
yes.
I simply don't recall seeing it, like on a warrant or
It
something.
stayed in the budget.
It did.
It was appropriated last year and it's in this year's,
It is-
it's in the proposed 25 budget.
65,000.
60, yeah, whatever it was, 65,000, whatever, is in the budget. Correct, Jennifer?
Yeah,
I'd have to double check it. 'Cause he
yeah, the
just-
only thing we added in was the,
The finance director.
finance director
Yeah.
on top of that.
We didn't take anything out.
So it's already included.
Okay, that's great.
Yep.
That's wonderful, because I think he's a great asset
Yeah.
to us. And the other thing was about this Comcast thing, and what I didn't hear, I know we've been getting some money back, it's gone down after years, from our, whoever, I forget who our previous, or who the.
Breezeline program, yep.
Yeah, one is. And I was just wondering, if we go to Comcast, and our personal experience with Comcast is that they were very good. But does the town get anything from Comcast?
Well, so we've got an article going forward right now where we're gonna stop taking funds from Breezeline, so I don't think we would wanna move forward trying to take funds from Comcast if we're not gonna take them from Breezeline.
We have an increasing number of people that are not opting for cable services.
Right here.
And so to tax them, it's really what it is, it's an added tax.
Okay,
The
so
town-
now that I understand what that.
It's,
Okay.
But-
I thought you did.
It's a good question, because what would happen is, if we go to town meeting and we vote to keep it, keep
you'd have to
doing
do
the,
the same with the Comcast.
so we would have, we would.
Because they have
It's my understanding that the provision that allows us to collect that fee from Breezeline is in either state or federal statute.
Yeah.
So it would allow us to do it with Comcast as well.
Yeah.
So we would handle them both the same, at least that's what I would
The
say.
thing is, we got an email, somebody had a concern about it, we looked into it, and we found that, well, like the meeting tonight's not on Breezeline, it's on our cell phones now, or whatever. So, but people are getting charged for that service.
Yeah.
So we're gonna vote on it, in a couple weeks, and if it fails, then, we'll look into it.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Oh, okay,
We adjourn.
you made a motion? Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor? Good night, everybody.
Can somebody flip that switch? Hey, John, would you flip that switch? Thank you.